Welcome back to Cloud9 Insight. I'm Carlene Jackson, the CEO. I'm often asked by clients, what can I do to prepare for my requirements gathering? So today I've put together a short video on some tips and ideas that you can use back in the office with your team before we come on site. So I've met many organizations who ask me, what is it I can do to be successful with implementing a CRM solution? And they often scratch their head and wonder, why was their previous project not a success? Well, I would say probably one of the single most important things that you should do is to consider that your project a business transformation project. And if you can do this, then you'll be much more successful, because if you simply see it as a technology project, then you'll overlook some really important things that you really need to consider. So the other areas that you really need to consider are processes. Are your existing processes fit for purpose, or do they need improving? Reporting, so suddenly for a lot of organizations, the insight they'll get into their business performance and even insight into their customers will be much better than they have at the moment. And so for me, that reporting is like a magic wand. So what is it you're going to do? What are you going to measure? Because what you measure really drives behavior and performance in your business. So make sure you're measuring the right thing. So sit with your team and really think about your KPIs. Are they fit for purpose? Are they supporting you in achieving your strategy? And are they going to give you the returns that you need? So we've looked at process and also reporting. The last one for me is, besides the technology, is culture. If you're looking to improve your customer effectiveness and how you work with your customers, giving them the best experience, then what you really need to do is wonder whether, have we got the right culture in place? Have we got the right values? Are we recruiting the right people? Do people have the right skills to do the job? And so really reflect on that and the business change that you're expecting. And lastly, of course, that's all enabled by the technology, and that's where we will come in and support you in identifying what are the key business processes, the capabilities, and the overall long-term and short-term vision that you have for the return on investment for deploying CRM. So when you get together with your team to prepare for the requirements gathering, we've got a list of things that you can talk through with your team. The first thing I would do is work with your team to agree a vision for how CRM will support your business success and your business change that you're looking to achieve. With that, we would also encourage your team to look at CRM not as a project, a one-off project, but as a journey. And that journey has a number of phases, and a roadmap will define those phases. When you're thinking about your roadmap, is to think about capability. And so for a lot of organizations, when they're starting out their journey of investing in CRM, they really just think of CRM as having a single view of their client data. But I would encourage you to, at the very least, look at making sure that your CRM allows you to make better decisions about what's going on in your business. It's also quite a good opportunity with deploying CRM to automate your processes, to incorporate AI, to streamline things, and to make the administrative burden on your users diminished. Later on, for some clients, when they're thinking about a sort of enhanced, mature capability, I would encourage you to think about integration with other line of business applications that will enhance the overall customer experience. So, for example, integration between sales and projects, or sales and accounts, just to give you a better picture of what's actually going on with your customers. And lastly, for those organizations that are looking to achieve the most mature capability, I would encourage you to consider how a customer portal or a partner portal may support your goals of your organizations. Because for many organizations, enabling the CRM capability that you build internally to the outside world can be a fantastic way to sort of scale your business growth. The next step is to identify roles within your team that will be working on the project, and that might be a key project manager who will be responsible for managing your partner and internal activities, and also other people who might have responsibility for your data in terms of cleansing, and potentially power users, potentially people who might even support you in training other users as well. The other thing that's really important to do is to consider how success is measured for the different stakeholders of the project. And don't forget to include customers in that. If you have any recent employees who've just joined, it's a really good idea to encourage them to be a part of this journey and to invite them to pretend that they're customers and think about how is the experience for them when they're working with your organization and what scope is there for improvement. It's hard to sometimes see those crooked pictures when you've been around a while. The next step is really to consider what are the key processes that you have in your business that you would like to incorporate within the different phases of your roadmap. But more importantly is to really challenge those processes. Very often I hear clients say that we've done it this way, let's sort of continue to do it that way forevermore. That might include printing out bits of paper to get signed, etc. So it's a really good opportunity to review your processes, make sure they're fit for purpose, streamline them as much as possible. And also when you're thinking about your processes, try to avoid using people's names and try to think about function. And one person might have more than one role in your business. So instead of saying Jack has to sign this off, say the sales manager has to sign this off as an example. So really review your processes and challenge them, make sure they're as slick as they can be. And if you need any help with this, of course, we can support you with that. But often clients like to sort of review and challenge that before we come on site. A great way of doing that is actually to get some sticky post-it notes and identify the key steps in your process. And when you reflect on that, if there's any step in your process that doesn't actually add any value to your customers, really think about taking that step out and streamlining it, because it's not adding a lot of value to your business. The next step is to consider your reporting. Look at the existing reports, who looks at them. There was a big enterprise I worked with years ago who actually decided to sort of halt their reporting project, and because there was a sort of huge documents being sent out across the organization that were being printed at the time, and nobody was really looking at those. And so basically they stopped sending any of these reports out until managers came up and actually asked for them, and they realized that maybe they might be interested in that information, but sending information for information's sake is not useful unless you're going to action it and make the right decisions. On that point, I think there's definitely a growing trend where managers should consider giving access to information that's at the hands of those people who are customer facing, and so that it's not just about managers having that sort of insight. So the next thing that I would say is really important to think about is what are the sort of key entities that you hold data on in your organization. For example, if you're a membership organization, you have data on your members, your sort of memberships, etc. So really give consideration to sort of the data that's in your organization that you would love to move into your new CRM world, because one of the first steps in the project is actually designing the data model, and without a good data model you won't be able to get that interactivity and insight with your reporting. It's also a good idea to think about training. What training might you need? Some clients actually even like to start before the requirements with some pre-project training. If you have a lot of people involved who don't even know what CRM is, maybe that might be a good place to start. Otherwise, training for your organization might actually mean advanced training for some users or just individual user training, but it's definitely not to be overlooked. And then the last area is data. Sort of what data do you have in your business, and where does that reside? And what is the master of your data? So maybe you have an accounting system, is that the master? So having a debate on that. Maybe you've got hidden spreadsheets across the organizations. What data do you have, and how are you going to consolidate that? So have a conversation about that too. So I hope that was useful to you, and as you should see this as the beginning of your business change journey. It's a great opportunity to get your team together. Often I find that there's one or two visionaries in a business who really get CRM and what it's about and where the vision is in the future. So see it as an opportunity to start to bring people together to help them understand what are the sort of pain points, what are the benefits, and where you're going on this journey and how you're going to successfully achieve this. And if you can all do that together from the start, then you're much more likely to achieve the return on investment that you should deserve for this project.